What if I told you that the burning sensation in your feet at night or that strange numbness in your hands isn't just something you have to live with? You might be wondering why a sharp electric jolt shoots up your leg while you're just sitting still, and it's easy to feel like your body is starting to fail you. Most doctors will look at those symptoms and tell you that nerve damage is permanent, and once those nerves are gone, they stay gone. For many seniors, this answer becomes a heavy burden because you stop expecting to get better and just focus on managing the pain with whatever pills they prescribe. But here is where it gets interesting, because that common medical conclusion skips over a vital part of how your nerves actually work. There is a specific structure wrapped around every single nerve fiber in your body, and when this layer starts breaking down, every one of those painful symptoms begins to show up. The tingling and the random shocks all trace back to this one structural problem that most people have never been told about. There is a simple seed you have probably walked past in the grocery store 100 times that gives your body the exact raw material it needs to help fix this. Stay with me for a moment, because the science behind how this works is much more specific than you might expect. So let's start with what's actually going wrong inside your nerves. Every nerve fiber in your body is wrapped in a protective coating called the myelin sheath, which you can think of like the plastic insulation on an electrical cord. This coating does much more than just protect the nerve, as it actually controls how fast and how cleanly signals travel from your brain to your limbs. When your myelin is healthy and intact, signals move quickly and accurately, but when it wears down, those signals start misfiring and short-circuiting. This is exactly where the pain comes from. And three specific things are responsible for most of this breakdown as we get older. Chronic low-grade inflammation is the first factor. It's also the most persistent because it doesn't announce itself the way a sudden injury does. It just runs quietly in the background for months and years while it slowly degrades that protective myelin layer. Blood sugar spikes are the second factor, and these are especially damaging because high levels of glucose are directly toxic to the cells that produce myelin. You don't even have to be diabetic for this to happen, since repeated spikes after a heavy meal are enough to cause real damage over time. The third factor is as a simple nutrient deficiency, which is a shortage of the structural fats your body uses to build and maintain your nerves. Seniors often face all three of these problems at once because inflammation tends to rise with age, while blood sugar regulation gets much harder. Most modern diets are built around processed carbohydrates instead of the healthy omega-3 fats that your nerve tissue is literally made from. Here is the part that changes everything, though, because myelin is not a fixed structure that stays the same forever. Your body produces specialized cells whose entire job is rebuilding that coating, and those cells stay active throughout your entire life. The repair process might slow down as the years go by, but it never actually stops. What really stops the healing is when your body runs out of the right building materials while the damage keeps coming. If you give those cells the fats and anti-inflammatory compounds they need, repair can actually happen. Flaxseed contains both of these essential tools, and here's the part that makes it so specific to nerve repair. The protective coating around your nerves is actually made mostly of fat. It's true, myelin is roughly 70 to 80% fat by dry weight, And that's not just a small detail for your health. This means your body needs a steady supply of the right dietary fats just to keep that coating healthy, let alone try to rebuild it after damage. The specific fat that maps most directly onto myelin reconstruction is called ALA, or alpha-linolenic acid, which is a special type of omega-3 fatty acid. You might be surprised to learn that flaxseed has the highest concentration of ALA of any food on Earth. Just 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed gives you close to 4,000 milligrams of ALA. That's actually more than what most fish oil supplements deliver in their primary omega-3 forms. Now, you might be wondering about fish oil and how it compares to this tiny seed. While the DHA and EPA found in fish are better known for heart health, ALA has a separate and direct role in protecting your nerves that researchers have confirmed. Studies on diets rich in ALA show real reductions in neuropathic pain markers and measurable improvements in how well nerves conduct signals rather than just lowering inflammation scores. The way it works isn't only about how the body converts it into other fats. ALA itself signals the pathways that reduce nerve inflammation, and it supports the fatty makeup of the myelin membrane directly to keep your nervous system running smoothly. The second compound you really need to understand is called lignans. Flaxseed contains more lignans than any other plant food in the world, and these lignans act as powerful antioxidants specifically within your nerve tissue. Since oxidative stress is one of the main forces that speeds up myelin damage, these lignans help neutralize the free radicals that cause all that trouble. This is a completely different mechanism from the anti-inflammatory effect of ALA. So both compounds are working at the same time through different pathways to solve the same underlying problem. One objection that comes up a lot is the idea that seed oils are harmful. So people assume flaxseed must be bad for them too. That way of thinking actually confuses 2 completely different things. Industrial seed oils like canola or soybean go through high heat extraction and heavy processing that damages the fats and strips out every beneficial nutrient. Whole ground flax seed is nothing like those processed oils because the ALA, the lignans, and the soluble fiber all work together as a complete food matrix. That natural matrix is what produces the protective effect for your nerves, and an extracted oil simply doesn't carry the same helpful package. So now let's talk about how to actually use it. The form you buy your flaxseed in matters more than most people expect. Whole flax seeds usually pass through your digestive tract completely intact, which means you end up absorbing almost none of the ALA or the lignans. Ground flaxseed is what you want to look for, and freshly ground is always better than buying pre-ground bags because ALA starts to oxidize very quickly once the seed is broken open. A small coffee grinder works perfectly for this task. You can grind what you will use in a single week and keep it in an airtight container in the fridge. But if the meal ever smells bitter or sharp, you should throw it out immediately. Rancid fats do not just lose their health benefits, as oxidized fats actively create the kind of inflammatory load that works against nerve repair. 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed every day is the range supported by research for those anti-inflammatory and omega-3 effects. You should probably start with just 1 tablespoon if your digestive system isn't used to much fiber, since the fiber content is quite high and some people need a week to adjust. Once you are comfortable, moving up to 2 tablespoons gets you into the range where your ALA intake becomes truly meaningful for your nerve tissue. It is best to take your flaxseed with a meal that already contains some healthy fat. Whether you choose avocado, eggs, olive oil, or full-fat yogurt, any of those will work well. The fat-soluble compounds in flaxseed are absorbed much better when other dietary fats are present at the same time, so sprinkling it on plain rice or dry toast is a missed opportunity for your body. You can stir it into your morning oatmeal with some nut butter, blend it into a smoothie with half an avocado, or even mix it into your eggs before you scramble them. It has a very mild, nutty flavor that usually disappears into most foods without changing the taste much. Here is something the flaxseed conversation usually skips over. The structural repair that flaxseed supports needs a cofactor to actually finish the job, and that cofactor is vitamin B12, while ALA provides the raw fatty material for the myelin membrane. B12 is what actually drives the signal to start rebuilding, as it activates the cells responsible for laying down new myelin. Without enough B12 in your system, those building materials might just sit there unused. Foods like eggs, sardines, and nutritional yeast are all solid sources of this vitamin, and pairing them with flaxseed daily ensures both sides of the repair equation are working together. The sugar side of this equation is something that simply cannot be ignored. High blood glucose levels degrade myelin-producing cells directly, and as long as that is happening, any repair your body attempts will be undercut by the damage. Cutting out added sugars while adding flax seed to your routine isn't just two separate healthy choices, because it removes the primary cause of damage while supplying the repair material at the exact same time. Making those two moves together is much more effective than trying either one alone. You should not expect to see results overnight. Nerve tissue is notoriously slow to remodel itself, and the people who report the clearest improvements typically hit that point after about 3 weeks of consistent daily use. They notice less burning at night, reduced tingling in their feet, and fewer of those random shooting sensations that can be so painful. It takes 3 weeks, not 3 days, because your biology simply does not move faster than that. Stopping at day 10 because nothing dramatic happened is the most common reason this natural approach gets written off before it has had enough time to work. One practical note before we close: if you are currently taking blood thinners, you should talk to your doctor before adding flaxseed to your daily routine. ALA has some mild anticoagulant properties, and while it isn't anything extreme, it is a real interaction that is worth knowing about. For everyone else, this is a very straightforward addition to your existing diet that has no real downsides when you stick to 1 or 2 tablespoons per day. The main thing to remember is that your myelin sheath reacts to what you're eating every single day. Most people think this part of the nerve peaks at age 30 and then just slowly falls apart, but it is actually living tissue with its own repair system that stays active as long as you give it the right fuel. The problem is that the standard Western diet usually misses the specific nutrients this machinery needs to function. Flaxseed happens to be one of the easiest ways to fix that problem, and it has been sitting right there on grocery store shelves for years while people look for something much more complicated. Let me know in the comments which symptom is bothering you the most, whether it's the tingling, the burning, or that constant numbness. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next video, because we are going even deeper into the full nerve repair protocol next time. See you next time, and I hope this helps you on your journey to better nerve health.